The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios.
Hi, this is Mia Mosinzia, also known as Mia No Time for Love. Check out my latest book, Missing, available in print and ebook formats on Amazon.
It's now time for the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios and sponsored by international award-winning author Mia Mosinzia of Missing. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on over 40 podcast platforms, as well as hamiltonradio.net, Diamonds FM, and the MikeWagnerShow.com. We can be heard in over 100 countries, featuring over 1,000 well-known and amazing guests throughout the globe. And named one of the top 100 global podcasts in the New York Weekly Times, Hollywood Entertainment News, Los Angeles Weekly Times, Apple, and Chartable. So sit back and relax and enjoy another great episode of the award-winning Mike Wagner Show.
Hey everybody, it's Mike from The Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios and brought to you by official sponsor of The Mike Wagner Show, international award-winning author Mia Mosinzia Missing, available on Amazon and paperback and ebook. We're here with a terrific gentleman who's an award-winning interior designer, author from Nashville, recognized by Andrew Martin as one of the world's top 35 leading interior designs. He's the son of the Grand Ol Opry star Littleroy Wiggins and began a lifelong collecting designs at 16, purchased a Copeland Bisque dog, and he's also going to be in a major appearance in a major movie. Talk about that. And he also has a wonderful story about, some of the stars his dad has been in, and maybe a little bit himself too. And his book is called What Were You Thinking? Recognizing costly mistakes that everyone makes, and talk about his book as well. And we're going to be talking more about an amazing musical journey and leading to the movies. Live, ladies and gentlemen, plus twos in beautiful downtown Nashville, award-winning interior design and author, and also the son of Grand Ol Opry star Littleroy Wiggins. Ladies and gentlemen, the multi-talented Howard Wiggins. Howard, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you, Mike. I appreciate it very much.
Well, it's great to have you on board as well, too. So you're an award-winning interior design author from Nashville, and also you're recognized by Andrew Martin as one of the world's top 35 leading interior designs. You also appeared on Brian Sebastian's movie reviews and more. You're a regular guest, and also you're son of a Grand Ol Opry star, Littleroy Wiggins, and began lifelong collecting and designing at 16, purchased a Copeland Bisque dog, and you also talk about an upcoming major appearance. We'll talk about that. You also have a book that's called What Were You Thinking? Recognizing costly mistakes that everyone makes. And you also have some interesting stories about some of the stars today. And before getting all that, Howard, tell us how you first got started.
I think it really started. My father, like I said, was famous, and my mother had redecorated the house probably 3 times when I was at home, living at home. And one time she hired a professional interior designer. Everything in the house was new. The TV, the recliner, everything. He comes in off the road, goes sits in a new recliner, turns on a brand new TV set. And Mother said, "Don't you notice anything?" He said, "Did you get your hair done today?"
What a way to start.
and I thought, we were all waiting to hear his reaction, and that's what he said. So, but I noticed the difference, and I could tell when she did it herself, opposed to when she had a professional designer, and it opened up my eyes to design, and I think that's why I became an interior designer.
Wow, that is something as well. And I was going to ask a precise moment, and I think that just kind of hit it on the head where your dad just says, "Did you get your hair done today? It's better than, hey, what's for dinner?" So, oh my goodness. And of course, that you began a lifelong collecting design at 16, and you purchased a Copeland Bisque dog. And can you imagine purchasing those things? So
I remember getting my driver's license, and I actually inherited a Cadillac when I was 16. It was only 2 years old because one of the neighbors of my parents had passed away, and they had no kids, so the guy gave me her car. And so I thought I was rich because I had a very expensive car at 16. And I remember driving to the antique store downtown Franklin, and I walked in, I saw this Copeland Bisque dog, and I paid I remember the price. It was $150.
Wow.
And I paid for it. And I went to the Antique and Garden Show here in Nashville probably about 5 years ago. First time I've ever seen that dog again, and it was for sale for $2,700.
Really? Wow. Sounds like The Price is Right, or the old Wheel of Fortune, like those Dalmatians, priced about $1,000 or something. You get for like maybe $100 or some at a regular store.
Yeah, but I had to wait 40 years to get it up that high.
Oh my gosh.
But it's still valuable, and I still have it. And I told my wife, it sits on the bar going down the hall before you go out the door. And I said, if the house caught on fire, just grab the dog, because that's where I started, and I can start over again.
Oh my gosh, I think that's really interesting too. And he also been recognized by Andrew Martin as one of the world's top 35 leading interior designers. That is one heck of an accomplishment.
Yeah, that I'm in a book with Ivana Trump, George Harrison, the Beatles. You can still purchase it at any bookstore around the world. It's volume 3, Andrew Martin. They do one every year, but I'm volume 3. So I'm one of the very first to ever be featured in that book.
Wow, that is something. And of course, you have a book yourself too called What Were You Thinking? Recognizing Costly Mistakes That Everyone Makes. That took me, it was a lifetime of what I've learned as being an interior designer. And there is a famous designer, Albert Hadley. He's known as the father of design. He was the first male interior designer, and he grew up in Nashville. And I happened to know him. And toward the end of his life, I visited him, and I gave him my book, and he read it back on the plane to New York. And he called me from the plane and said, "This is the best book. It should be taught in every school in the nation." And then he wrote me a handwritten letter, and he sent me slides of some of his work that is, I'm sure, very valuable. And that's just a memory. I mean, that's like the Queen giving you a grant, to be a nobleman or something. I mean, it was a big honor to be recognized by Albert Hadley. Oh my gosh, that is something as well too. And of course, you got an interior design. What was that one first project that got you on your way?
I did a 25,000 square foot home in Laurelbrook here in Nashville. It's the highest one on the hill, and that's probably the biggest I've ever done. I really never did anything that I thought was my best work, because you're only can go as far as the client allows you to spend, and you have to do it around their taste. My home comes closer to anything I can do, because I don't have to get permission from myself to do it.
That certainly is true. And of course, the book, What Were You Thinking? Provides direction, bringing life to dull rooms, recognizing common mistakes people make. And what are some of the common mistakes most people make when it comes to interior design?
Most of them have a preconceived notion of what they want. And the best thing to do is go shopping, because you don't know your options until you see it. And then the biggest thing I can tell people to do, you always start big and work down. So whatever your flooring, your background, that's the biggest thing. You start off with your floor plan to what you want, because once you do a floor plan, you'll know if you need one sofa or two sofas. Mm-hmm. Once you have your sofa, you know if you need an end table or a sofa table. And if it's an end table, you know what arm height your sofa is. Once you know that, you know what lamp to put on it. Once you know that, you know what artwork to put with it. And you just go from there. You make large decisions down there. I like to compare it to cooking. You put a main ingredient in the pot. You don't put everything you like in that pot. You put what makes that main ingredient taste better. So in this case, it's what makes that main ingredient look better.
That
simplifies it.
That is interesting. I seem to like that. Having the tables, the chairs, the height, and everything else. And then how about colors as well, too? Maybe give a little bit of advice about the color. I'm sure that just makes a big difference.
I'm a master of color. I really am, because people always think that color didn't go together. Any color will go with any color in the world. I could go out and pick wildflowers, come home, and I could arrange it. It's a matter of proportions and putting together what you want. In fact, I have a prediction. This next generation is going to go full out color, and they're going to not have things matched. because all the generations before, they match everything. You don't have to match. You can put complement. You can put orange and blue and gray and pink and all kinds of colors together, and it looks fabulous. If they go to my Facebook page and see pictures of my guest bedroom, there are 22 colors in my guest bedroom. Wow. And so that just proves it. I mean, I can do anything I want to do, and as long as you arrange it right and make it look good, that's fine. But that takes talent. Right now, I'm seeing a lot of things in white, and it drives me crazy because it doesn't really take talent to put white together.
unless you're Snow White or something.
Well, I mean, it's just no talent. If you just put white everywhere, then you're not going to make a mistake because it's all white. But to me, all white. I'm an older generation. When I think of white appliances, I think of cheap, because I think if you have white walls, it's like when I grew up, you lived in an apartment, you couldn't paint the walls. Like, I didn't ever live in an apartment because I wanted color the moment I got my first place, and I never left doing color.
That's amazing. You talk about coloring your place. What was that? What were the colors that you painted your apartment?
Actually, I never had an apartment. I had two condos, the one I live in now and the one I lived in before. I never had to rent. But the colors, I pretty much based it on what that interior designer did in my room, because he did beautiful colors, and I've kept those colors pretty much as a constant of my life and added to it. Mm-hmm. But I never do my colors for my clients, because every time I do a client, I think of them and what they like and what they have. And so I don't repeat colors. I don't do like the same color for every client I had. They're all different, because there's certain colors that remind me of people. Mm-hmm. And I like a personal style rather than a dated style. If you do what's in, it's going to go out. If people are old enough to remember 1985, we had all that blue and mauve stuff.
Oh, yeah. And then the 90s was teal, and I think everybody went berserk on purple, going 2000 or whatever it is. And yeah, I remember that. Everything was teal back then. I remember when we first got married in 91, I grabbed a San Jose Sharks jersey, and she was buying me teal shirts, teal that, and everything else. That was a biggie. So.
Exactly. And everybody seems to do whatever the magazine tells them to do. And I have actually, I was in the store the other day, and I had a client looking for towel, and they were they had a second home, and it was a Mediterranean home, and it was a beautiful home, and they showed me pictures of it, and it was perfect for a Mediterranean home. But they wanted to change it to the white and the gray and the more contemporary look. If they liked that, they should have bought a new home. But they were trying to make this Mediterranean home into a new-looking home. And I thought, why do that? It's perfect for what it is. If you go to Europe, they don't change every time a new fashion comes in. You buy a home, you keep it the way it is, and you just improve it as you go along. But you never really change the roots of the home. That's why there's homes in Paris and Italy and all that are 300 or 400 years old, and they're still beautiful today.
That sounds beautiful, and I can imagine it being beautiful like that. And what are some of your favorite personal colors?
I like a lot of colors. I like coral. I like black. I like blues. I like greens. I like everything. I mean, to me, that's another thing I would like to tell my listeners is that you don't have to do your house in the same colors throughout. If you come to my house, there's dark rooms, there's light rooms, there's colorful rooms, and they're different from room to room. I never have my colors flow all over the place, because to me, that's like opening up a closet and all you have is black and white clothes.
Yeah, like Men in Black makes you think of it.
Yeah, and it's like, I like a variety. I like change. Sometimes I feel like sitting in a dark room. Sometimes I feel like sitting in a bright room. Sometimes, you have different moods, and I like to be in the room that fits that mood. I think if I had the same look through a whole house, I'd get bored. I mean, I like a variety. just like you do in your closet.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And of course, you talk about the colors with rooms and everything. What are some more common colors recommended? Like, say, kitchen, or you go to the dining room, living room, bedroom, bathroom, or even downstairs in a basement, or the special rooms, like, say, library, pool hall, or even like, say, or a theater room, or specialty rooms.
Well, people are scared of colors, but rooms like dining rooms or a coffee room or an entryway, rooms that you're not in a very long time, don't be afraid of color, because that sets the impression you're only in that room for a few moments and you go on. Now, if you're wanting to play it safe, wherever you spend your time the most, in the living room, den, kitchen, wherever, there you can do neutral. If you're spending a lot of time in it and you're afraid of color, keep that toward a neutral and pop it with little accents of color. But rooms that you just pass through, like I said, like an entry room or a dining room or a mud room or all those other kind of rooms, that a laundry room, go out, do anything you want. It doesn't have to match the rest of the house, because it sets an impression and it breaks up the same color scheme throughout the whole house.
That's interesting. How about wallpaper? Some people like to do wallpaper.
I love wallpaper. To me, I posted on Facebook, there will be no white unadorned rooms ever in my house. If I see a place on the wall, I'm going to put something on it, and the wall's going to have something on it too. It's going to be wallpaper. It's going to be faux finish. It's going to be a color I actually, in my living room, I have a color that I had custom mixed that was in my head that is just so beautiful, but nobody else has that color. I stood there and had the painter mix it, and I don't even know how to get back to it again. I just told him what to do until I got the color that I saw in my head. So I like homes that you go to that are collected, or homes that are original. I like to compare it to Coco Chanel. If anybody Googles Coco Chanel's apartment in Paris, and you can visit Paris and still see it today, that was done in the 1920s, and I would move into it exactly the way it is, not change one thing about it, and that's 100 years ago. That stood the test of time. But the reason it stood the test of time, she was ahead of her time, and she did her style, and it's like an original piece of art. Don't be afraid to be different than everybody, because like I said, if your home is different, it's like it's an original piece of art. So it doesn't look like a time period. It looks like you, because you created it.
It does too. And of course, we hit upon color, we hit upon wallpaper, and of course the carpeting as well too. That's important. Or the flooring too, also.
Oh, there's lots of choices. Right now, I'm kind of leaning toward towels, but I like a variety there too. Your floors don't have to be the same throughout either. You can have transition from wood to carpet to towel and things like that. It doesn't matter. I like a flow, but it still can transition, because once you're in that space, you see that space. That's another thing that if I had built my dream house, I would have had a separate breakfast room, separate from the kitchen, because I don't want to look at a kitchen while I eat. I would rather be in like a little smaller room with a fireplace and a view out the window, like you would be sitting at a nice restaurant, and not see the kitchen. Because a lot of times, let's say it's like Thanksgiving meal and things like that, the kitchen may be a mess by the time they serve it, because they've been cooking in it, they hadn't cleaned the dishes. So if you move into the dining room, everything looks nice, but then the kitchen could be messy and has to be cleaned up later. I don't want to look into it, you know. So,
and of course, we just got through Thanksgiving, coming up Christmas, and then 2024. God knows what's going to happen. You talked about breakfast. It makes me think of those breakfast nooks that we had one at one point, and you sit down, it's almost like nice and comfy breakfast nooks. That's made me think of it.
Exactly. I mean, it's just funny thing is, I go to Cracker Barrel a lot because my wife and I, and I always ask, I want by the fireplace. No matter what day it is, I want by the fireplace, even if it's not going. I like that homey, cozy feel by being by a fireplace. So that would be my dream kitchen nook.
And of course, with all the appliances and everything else, of course, some of the things, people make, it's like, you basically set up a room, you set up some things. And of course, And of course, you wonder if it's a bargain, how to tell a bargain from a waste of money, just heading back to designing a room or just gathering some antiques or whatever it is. How do you tell from a bargain from a waste of money?
I never shop bargains, and I don't think anybody should be. I have a rule. If I see it and I like it, I'm going to get it. Now, if it's a bargain and I like it, I'll buy it. But I don't go out searching for bargains, and I don't let the price persuade me to buy if I don't like it. A lot of people, they'll see a bargain and say, oh, that's worth more than I'm paying, and they grab it. Well, if you can't use it and it messes up your whole scheme, you've just wasted your money. I always say budget is whatever you have to spend at that moment. It never ends. There's always something you can do. If I had $1 million to spend, I could do it because there's always something I could improve upon or add or whatever. So whatever your budget is, go as far as you can on one or few items because you got your lifetime required. I'm 70 years old now, and I've been working on this little condo for over 40 years.
Wow.
And I'm still not finished. I mean, I've kind of got a mission this year to try to get it as close to being finished as I can. But I'm always finding something else, and I'm always thinking of something else to do. At one point, I had a list of 20 things I wanted to do. Well, I did, and I thought of 20 more things I wanted to do.
The list just keeps growing and growing, and this just came up in my mind. It's like, I like to have a recording studio and just set up with all kinds of things and just paint the walls, the interior, and put up all kinds of goodies on there. That's what I would like to have.
Yeah, I mean, we all have our dream. I mean, life is short, and to me, you spend most of the time at work. You spend your enjoyment, relaxing hours at home. Well, I don't take many vacations. I've only had 2 vacations in my life, and I can't do it because I always think all that money I would spend on vacation, I can purchase something that I want, or upgrade something, or do something that I'll look at, and that makes me happy. So,
and certainly does as well too. And of course, speaking of buying things and putting up things and everything else that you have all kinds of trinkets. I thought about getting an antique radio as well, too, and listen to Little Roy Wiggins. We'll talk about that with the Howard Wiggins, son of Grand Ol Opry star Little Roy Wiggins, and the amazing journey. But first, listen to The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Looking at a professional website without breaking your budget, Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web design that blow the competition away. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show. Get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level. Also, time to give official shout out to our official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Molson-Zia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, you'll love Missing by Mia Molson-Zia. Available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. Takes place in 4 countries, 2 strangers, 1 target, where truth is illusion and those you love be the first go missing. It's available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing by Mia Molson-Zia has garnered great reviews. An evil living endorsed by Howard celebrities, including Joanna Cassidy, Forbes Riley, and Mills. So grab your copy today for Goes Missing by Mia Molson-Zia, available on Amazon. Also, check out The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com or 40 podcast platforms. Heard in 100 countries, including Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio. Also on anchorfm, Apple, Odyssey, BitChute, Rumble. Make sure you subscribe also to YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and more. Make sure you take us with you on any mobile device. And for great gift ideas, go to Amazon.com. Check out the Mike Wagner Show podcast, t-shirts, pop sockets, hoodies, phone cases, and more. Amazon.com/Mia Molson-Zia. Check it out today. And also support the Mike Wagner Show on Facebook as well. Facebook.com/Mike Wagner, and supports on PayPal as well. We're here with the award-winning interior designer and author from Nashville, Howard Wiggins, here on the Mike Wagner Show. And we cover some of his interior design accomplishments as well. And we'll have you on in 2024 on StreamYard. And we're going to be working towards that and making it more interactive. And you had a really, really interesting background. You're the son of Grand Ol Opry star Little Roy Wiggins, and what an accomplishment, having, being, son of the Grand Ol Opry star. And you must have traveled around and been around a lot of great stars and everything.
Yeah, I remember. Well, one story I can tell is Andy Griffith, when I was a little bitty kid, he started out on the Grand Ol Opry.
Mm-hmm.
And then from the Grand Ol Opry, he got his first movie, No Time for Sergeants. And he actually had dinner at our house before he left to Hollywood. And then once he made it to Hollywood, everything just fell in place for him. I mean, the Andy Griffith show, the No Time for Sergeants led to Andy Griffith. He met the Don Knotts that played Barney at the No Time for Sergeants movie. So they both launched their careers together, and it just changed. So, and it's funny to watch the Andy Griffith show in the beginning because he was so country, and then they kind of toned it down as he went along and developed his style. So.
That is rather interesting too. And you also had a really good story about Raycharles.
Oh, Raycharles. We used to go with my father all the time when they had the Johnny Cash tape. And one time I was behind stage, and I had this autograph book because I just go up to everybody, even as a kid. I may not have known them, but I would ask them for the autograph. And sometime during my life, my mother threw it away, and I bet it would be worth a fortune now. But Raycharles was Johnny Cash's guest, so I went up to Raycharles and asked him for his autograph, and he didn't give it to me. So I ran to my father and said, Raycharles didn't give me his autograph. He said, it's because he's blind. He may be signing a check.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh. And, of course, look at him as well, too. And it makes you wish he did have a check for you, too. So,
but it's fun. I mean, I met a lot of people. Dolly Parton was one of my best friends because my dad at the time had Grammar Guitar Company, and she had just started singing with Porter Wagner. And so he took me over to make the first publicity shots holding the Grammar guitar. Well, I fell in love with Dolly the moment I saw her. Wow. And then she did this Saturday night offering along with my father every Saturday. So up until 9 to 5, we talked every Saturday behind stage. She always told me when she got a divorce and lost weight, she married me next.
Well, at 77, do you think the offer's still going to stand today?
Well, I don't know. Brian from Movies Review and More, he's going to try to get us together again. And I told my wife, I said, I will not cheat on you unless Dolly calls.
and make you work in 9 to 5, too.
Yeah, exactly. And I also remember a story she was telling me. She said, Howard, when my career is over, I'm going to write children's books. Well, her career's not over, but she managed to work that dream in, too. And then the other thing, I noticed that Dolly treats everybody, no matter who you are, alike. I mean, if you were the president, she treats you the same as she would a fan. There was one time when Dolly asked me, she used to do this fundraiser in Sevierville to raise scholarships by doing a program at the local high school. Well, she took 2 buses. She took her bus, and she took a bus load of friends. And then she took us all out to eat, and she sat with me above everybody else.
Wow.
And then we watched the performance. So she's just nice that way. I mean, she treats it was no different. I mean, and the thing is, she's so honest and so true to herself. The other thing I learned from her is just be yourself and tell the true stories, and you don't have to make it up. It's just true stories like I'm telling you now. So I've listened to her enough. I know all her stories. So there's not a question you could ask her that she hasn't answered before.
And what was the best story that you heard from Dolly Parton?
Well, the best story is my story, which is I was in a car accident and I broke my neck and I broke my collarbone and a little bit of my hair, top of my hair had to be sewn back on. Well, I was in the hospital when I was in traction. Well, Dolly and her sister Stella and a girlfriend of hers came to see me, and they walked into the bedroom to the hospital room is what I'm trying to say. And my parents were sitting at the foot of the bed, and there was 2 chairs on each side. And so the girlfriend sat in one chair, Stella in the other chair, and Dolly was standing up against the wall, and my parents were sitting at the foot of the bed. Well, Dad asked Dolly, he said, would you like to have my seat? And before she could even answer, I said, yeah, Dolly, sit in the foot of the bed so I can tell everybody I had Dolly Parton in my bed. And then, like I said, I was in traction. So Dolly actually, she wore this peach, I still got a picture of it, a peach velvet pantsuit. And she stood above my head because I couldn't turn my head to look at her. So I said, that's a view that not many guys get to see. And then also, a male nurse came in at that time and took my blood pressure and all that kind of stuff. And then he started to leave. And then he forgot to write it down because he was nervous with being around her. And then my dad walked into the elevator, and Dad came back and said there was this young couple about to get in the elevator, and his girlfriend or wife or whatever pulled them back and said, "You're not getting in that elevator." You know. But I don't know. She is who she says she is. I mean, there's no put on about it. So,
and of course, one of the other famous ones is Peggy Lee as well. And what a story she has from beautiful Jamestown, North Dakota.
Yeah, Peggy Lee was on the Johnny Cash taping, and I remember walking into the dressing room, and she was having her hair done, and she was pointing to the hairdresser the way she wanted it. But actually, Peggy Lee was a personal friend of my parents, and I always thought Peggy Lee was like the epitome of sophistication and class because she just comes across that way on TV. But in actuality, my mother said she always told dirty stories and had a filthy mouth. You know?
Boy, she must have had a fever back then.
Maybe so. That's right. Maybe so.
Oh, my gosh. What a story, I'll tell you. and of course, we're here with the amazing Howard Wiggins from Brian Sebastian's Movie Reviews and more here on the Mike Wagner Show. And don't forget, there's always Perry Como as well. Great story.
Oh, yeah, Perry Como. I did do Perry Como. The stepfather raised Brenda Lee. Let's see, who else do I know? There's just many that I met through my life. Tex Ritter, I remember John Ritter on Three's Company. I remember his father's Tex Ritter on the Grand Ol Opry, and we're about the same age. And I remember as our parents were on the Opry, we'd play up and down the steps in the back alley and run up and down the steps together and stuff like that. But at that time, country music wasn't the big thing. I mean, my generation liked rock and roll. So I really never told anybody about my father until later in life. Now everybody loves country. So it just kind of reversed. So, and these people were just friends of mine. I mean, I knew everybody. I mean, everybody, in the neighborhood I grew up in, it was Jim Ed Brown, I can't think of Stu Phillips, Bobby Lord, Skeeter Davis, Ralph Emery. That was all on the street I lived, so it's just a lot of famous people all the time.
And of course, you're also famous yourself. You're going to be in a major appearance in an upcoming movie. We'll talk about that with Howard Wiggins, part of the Brian Sebastian Movie Reviews, and also the author of the book, What Were You Thinking? And also award-winning interior designer, recognized by Andrew Martin as one of the world's top 35 leading interior designers. You're listening to The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios, and brought to you by official sponsor of The Mike Wagner Show, international award-winning author Mia Molson-Zia. We'll be back with the amazing, multi-talented Howard Wiggins after this time out.
The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios. If you're looking to start or upgrade your online presence, visit www.sonicwebstudios.com for all of your online needs. Call 1-800-303-3960 or visit us online at www.sonicwebstudios.com to get started today. Mention The Mike Wagner Show and get 20% off your project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level.
Hey everybody, my name is Forbes Riley, and I'm an American actress and a TV host. And I was delighted when I got my copy of Missing, which is Extraordinary Relation of Ordinary People based on a real life relationship. It's well written. It's amazing. It talks about a man who has lost his wife and his daughter, and it's very well done. I'm going to highly recommend that you go get your copy of Missing. It is a powerful, exciting read. Mr. Mian Moshe Zia. He is the author of Missing. And I want to give a big shout out and a kiss all the way halfway around the world to my dear friend. Check him out at Mia's website. It's called www.miamotionzea.com. Missing, available on Amazon. Again, I'm Forbes Riley, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Hey, this is Ray Powers, and boy, are you in luck. Right place, right time. Tuned in to the Mike Wagner Show. You heard me.
We're back with the amazing award-winning interior design and author from Nashville, Howard Wiggins, here on the Mike Wagner Show, also part of Brian Sebastian's Movies and Reviews. And you have a major appearance in an upcoming film. Big news. Tell us more about that.
It's called Without Warning. It's a dramatic part. I play a grandfather of I'm one of the main characters, and I play a part of a grandfather to another main character. I don't know if I should tell the storyline, so I'm going to keep that a secret, but it's called Without Warning. It's going to be shot in April of next year, and usually it takes about 90 days to shoot a movie, and then it takes a little while to editing, promote it. So we're probably talking late summer next year when it finally gets released, but it will be released everywhere. But I'm looking so forward to doing it because it's a major role. I've done a few movies called The Haunted Farmhouse where I played a ghost, but the ghost didn't get to talk that much.
Except boo.
Yeah, I did a little zombie movie, but that was just because I wanted to do it. And I also take care of mainly adults and teenagers, and one of my clients he loves horror movies, so I did the zombie movie so I could basically come back and tell him, look, this is me. There's no such thing as real zombies, because he really believes in it. So it's like, no, this is me. I played a zombie.
I think encouraging zombies all across the board here, and you're like, hey, I want to be in a zombie movie too. So
yeah, well, that's an easy part to play, because what do? You just walk and make sounds,
Or you look like you're half awake. You didn't have coffee or energy drink or anything. I think I can qualify for that. So
anybody could.
Right, yeah. And in the meantime, where can we find all your works at, Howard?
Pardon, say that again?
Where can we find all your works at, your website, and everything else?
Basically, Movies Review and More on Facebook.com. I've got 2 or 3 Facebook accounts, but the one that just says Howard Wiggins Facebook, that's the one I want you to follow. I'm really retired from interior design. I did that when I turned 65, but I just can't give up my website because I like to go back and look at it, So I like to see if I stood the test of time, if my designs still look good.
Mm-hmm. And we'll certainly put you to the test too. We have you on StreamYard sometime in 2024. We'll do that. We're here with the amazing author Howard Wiggins of on the Mike Wagner Show, part of Brian Sebastian's Movie Reviews and More, award-winning interior design and author from Nashville, and also recognized by Andrew Martin as one of the world's top 35 leading interiors, and the son of Grand Ol Opry star Littleroy Wiggins. And what can we expect from you in 2024 and beyond, Howard?
That's a good question. I enjoy life. I'm going to let it take me where it takes me. I've got another movie coming up in Hollywood that's called Who's Going to Take Care of Me? And it has Paul Williams in it. You remember Paul Williams from the 80s, the songwriter?
Yes, I do.
He was also in the Blonde-Headed Ape and Planet of the Apes. That was Paul Williams.
Oh, yeah. Planet of the Apes. That was one of my favorite ones. It's like, gosh darn you to heck. I can't say the actual line over the air, though.
Yeah. Well, I'll get to meet him in person when the premiere comes. I'm good friends with Catherine Pacino, which is Al Pacino's stepmother. I haven't met her yet, but we've talked and we've texted back and forth ever since I got the role in the movie. And the producer of the movie is letting us all do our parts, but when we do our part, we can start posting our part. And I think that's a good way to go, because it gets interest in the movie and it gets people following you. I do want people to follow me. The more people to follow me, the better off it is for me. So go to Facebook, follow me.
And we will certainly do that as well. And I'm one of your followers too, so remember that. So I follow you all the time. Oh, yeah. And who do you consider biggest influence in a career, Howard?
Who's the biggest influence in my career?
Yes.
I don't know. I can't really answer that question because my career, as far interior design, that was given to me by God. That was my natural talent. But I went to O'Moore School of Interior Design. When I retired, I thought, well, I'm not going to sit here and watch The Price is Right till the day I die. And I did a local TV show with T.J. Cates, and it was, and I talked about interior design. Where T.J. Cates made his first movie called The Haunted Farmhouse, and he asked me to be the ghost in it. That led to one thing, and that led to another. And then I met Brian at Nashville Women in Film, and he asked me to be on that show, and that just led me. I'm just letting life take me wherever it goes. I mean, at this age, I know life is short because it goes by quick. So I'm just, whatever happens, happens, and I'm just enjoying the ride.
And certainly indeed as well, too. And what's the best advice you can give to anybody at this point?
As far as...
Anything in general. Anything in general.
My best advice is people stress out over everything. I don't stress out over anything. If it's stressful, I'll walk away. I'll get away from it. We all have choices. If you don't like the situation, change it. If you don't like somebody, drop it. Be around people that inspire you, that you want to be alive, because you're a combination of your three best friends. So if you're hanging around the bad crowd, you're going to be bad. If you're hanging around wealthy people, you're going to be wealthy. You're going to learn from each other. You're going to take on characteristics by the people that are around you. So your social circle, it keeps you young, and it keeps you active, and it keeps you going.
Mm-hmm. And a very good point indeed as well, too. Once again, with the amazing award-winning interior design author of the book, What Were You Thinking? Plus part of the Brian Sebastian's movie reviews and more, son of Grand Ol Opry star Littleroywiggins, Howard Wiggins here on the Mike Wagner Show. Howard, a very big thank you for your time. You've been absolutely fantastic, and looking forward to having you again soon, especially on StreamYard in 2024. Keep us up to date. Keep in touch. Love to have you back. Once again, what's your website? How do people contact you? Where can people purchase, check out your works, and also check out your appearance on movie reviews and more and more?
It's all on Howard Wiggins' Facebook, plain and simple. I'm on Instagram. Brian puts me on Instagram with my dance and things like that, but I don't do it. So, but everything I do is posted on my Facebook. So basically Facebook. So.
Okay, we'll certainly check out that. Once again, Howard, a very big thank you for your time. You've been absolutely fantastic. Looking forward to having you again soon. Keep us up to date. Keep in touch. Love to have you back. Wish you all best. And Howard, you definitely have a great future ahead of you.
The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios. If you're looking to start or upgrade your online presence, visit www.sonicwebstudios.com for all of your online needs. Call 1-800-303-3960 or visit us online at www.sonicwebstudios.com to get started today. Mention the Mike Wagner Show and get 20% off your project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level.
Hey everybody, my name is Forbes Riley, and I'm an American actress and a TV host. And I was delighted when I got my copy of Missing, which is Extraordinary Relation of Ordinary People based on a real life relationship. It's well written. It's amazing. You know, it talks about a man who has lost his wife and his daughter, and it's very well done. I'm going to highly recommend that you go get your copy of Missing. It is a powerful, exciting read. Mr. Mian Moshe Zia. He is the author of Missing. And I want to give a big shout out and a kiss all the way halfway around the world to my dear friend. Check him out at Mia's website. It's called www.miamotionsea.com. Missing, available on Amazon. Again, I'm Forbes Riley, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to The Mike Wagner Show. Brought to you by international award-winning author Mia Mohsen Zia of Missing, and powered by Sonic Web Studios. Be sure to join us again on over 40 podcast platforms, and of course on the MikeWagnerShow.com, HamiltonRadio.net, and Diamonds FM. Don't forget to support our program with a generous donation at the MikeWagnerShow.com. Thanks for listening.